last night Maddie was like, "Are you okay? You're just staring into space." And I was like, "I'm actually just thinking about Mad Max Fury Road."
Yes.
Oh, what a lovely day to listen to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up to Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and I'm on all those Jersey Boys videos that Facebook is trying to get you to watch if you're in Auckland. And joining me is our own war boy, James Barron.
Hi there, I ride eternal, Gareth. It's me, James Barron, war boy. You love the Jersey Boys, I love the war boys. This is the key difference between us.
That is, yeah.
In our friendship. Yeah, man.
Do you think there's any money in Jersey war boys?
Maybe. It'd be a high energy show. That's a guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
The unlikely pairing, though. Goodness me. Mad Max Fury Road this week, Gareth. Hell yeah. I'm ready to drive into the literal sunset with you.
What is your relationship with Mad Max Fury Road?
Okay, so when this came out, I had not seen a Mad Max movie before at all, and I heard from a couple of people like, "Oh, it's really good. You should go see it." And so I think I went to see it with my family first in the cinema, and after that, I fucking loved it. And then I watched it again in the same week. I think maybe 2 or 3 days later, I went back and watched it again because I really love this movie. It's a lot of fun. Is the best way to describe it. Holy crap! It's just all good at all times.
It is, yeah.
What about yourself?
Very similar. I saw it, I think, weekend of release, and then I think I went during your second watch. You and I saw it.
Hell yeah.
And it was both of our second time, I think.
Okay.
With another friend who was her third time probably at that point.
Dang.
Our friend Min, who is also the one who pointed out to us that it is, famously the plot is they go somewhere and then they turn back to go to where they came from.
Yes, it is. That's the full story of Mad Max Fury Road. If you want the Cliff's Notes, it's a bunch of people drive a long way and then they turn around and drive all the way back. That's it.
That's honestly all you need. This movie, they should transplant pure imagination from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and put it in this film, because the amount of imagination in like every single frame is so beautiful. Like everything, just has a full backstory that like is ready if you ask. Like every minor weird character has a beautiful full name and like interesting like makeup and injuries and stuff. It's
It's also well thought out,
Yeah.
I love it. I could definitely see like a trailer being cut of this movie to pure imagination, but it would be one of those terrible like breathy covers of the song. You know what I mean? How they do these like covers of like Crazy by Seal and stuff, and it's just like this weird breathy version. You're like, okay. That's more just me commentating on the state of of movie trailers in today's day and age. But anyway,
it's so rough. Those are sneaking into the movies. Like in Birds of Prey, there's a whole bunch of them, and it's atrocious. And it's like half that, and then half like fun, upbeat punk songs, and you're like, I want the other half, please.
Yeah,
give me Cherry Bomb.
Yeah, for real. Maybe it's just like movie trailers and movies are kind of blending together in terms of what Hollywood think people want. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's so many movies that have been re-edited to be more like the trailer.
Yeah, and by the same token, trailers are edited to like cover most of the whole movie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. So like that's how pretty much what we've described of like trailers are boring. Movies are trying to just be trailers and trailers are trying to be movies. That was the world that Mad Max, the film, not the character, Fury Road, like sped into. Like, there's no reason. It's similar to Paddington last week. There's no reason this should be so good. Like, if you said the best movies of the last decade were going to be the one about Facebook and the fourth Mad Max, people would be like, "What are you talking about?
Are you insane?" Yeah, that sounds like the ravings of a madman. That you, like someone came back from the future just shouting that on the street. It's like, "You're gonna be watching a film about Facebook," and it's like, no, we're not. But yeah, no, it's you're absolutely right in this movie. It shreds its expectations from the get-go, right? Like, you think you know what you're in for, because there have been 3 Mad Max movies up until this point. I still haven't seen any of them, which is really bad. So, but I don't need to, because I feel like this is like the best one.
Yeah, and it doesn't expect you to. It expects you to know maybe the idea that it's the post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I know,
like,
I went going in knowing like the vague, like zeitgeisty version of what Mad Max is, like Mel Gibson in the apocalypse post some kind of natural disaster or a horrific event, and now everyone's like fighting for resources in a big desert version of Australia. Like that's sort of all you need to know going in.
I love that it's Australia as well, and the amount of Australian accents in this movie is so happy. Makes me so happy.
It's so good. There's a bunch of like Australianisms that make it in as well.
Oh yeah,
just little like cheeky references and stuff. That's so good.
Yeah, and there's so many actors who are in this who then you go onto their IMDb and it's like Mad Max and then Home and Away. Like they've only done a small Australian things other than that.
Red Dog in this film, and that's like it. Yeah, very true.
Red Dog.
Yeah, man. Shout outs to my man, Red Dog.
Speaking of red dogs, did you know they're making a live-action Clifford movie?
No. How do they?
Clifford the big red dog.
A dog that big, Gareth?
I know.
That's impossible. What? I'm completely shook. I'm taken aback earlier this week by the news that Shrek 5 is in development.
What?
I know. And then also, now there's a Clifford movie that I need to worry about as well. Is it the one where he gets stuck in the firehouse? That was the one.
I hope so.
That was the one that stressed me out.
Yeah.
It's just so big.
What if they need to fight a fire?
I know, right? God damn. Bloody Clifford at it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mad Max. Baby. Shall we get into...
Mad Max doesn't have to worry about Clifford.
No, he doesn't. He's got to worry about how he syncs up with the old stylings of a 70s rock band, though.
Yeah.
You know, how is he syncing up with the Floyds?
That's
what we want to know.
I'm like Mad Max at the beginning of this film, you know? I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't speak for ages.
It's true. Little do we know what's going to happen to old mate Max at the start. Yeah. Shall we get in? Shall we dive in and discuss?
Let's dive in.
Discuss some syncing of Floyd's and Mad Max. Let's do it.
Diving in being something they don't do much in Mad Max because there's famously not a lot of water.
Very little water to dive into. But we're going to dive in. Yeah. Opening titles, baby, over the classic intro of our album. Here we go. And I said our album. I'm claiming ownership on this one.
I think at this point, we've at least got a 1% stake in this album.
Yeah, we're building up our shareholder interest in Dark Side of the Moon in order to slowly take it over by acquiring more and more share in it. Eventually, all the listens will be from us. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll have no audience. So that would be bad.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, we get like some overdubbing from Max about how the world, like some very brief getting you up to speed on everything that's happened. The Cliff's notes on the apocalypse, effectively. And then the opening shot is just like him standing, looking into the distance, potentially taking a piss. It looks like the pose that he is. I don't know for sure, but it could just be him standing stoically. But whatever. There's a shot. I'm not sure, but there's a shot of a two-headed lizard out here as well. So showing you that things are a bit messed up out here in the desert. All right. There's a cool two-headed lizard. I wish there was... more little stuff like this in the film. There's like lots of little details throughout, which is great.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like, I think it's part of the beauty of this, and back to the imagination thing, is yes, it's a like old franchise that like has a lot of weight behind it, so that's how they got their budget. But because it's not tied to books or comic books or the expanded Star Wars lore or anything, like you can just chuck something in weird like a two-headed lizard or famously the stilt walkers later in the movie.
Oh my god, I love them.
Oh, same. And like the audience gets to have fun with it. They get to like, they don't have to, I bet I have to go on Wikipedia now and look up what's up with the two-headed lizard. They get to just fill in the blanks themselves and be like, cool, two-headed lizard. I bet that's had a life.
Yeah, absolutely. They just like have to figure it out for themselves. It's just like small little story notes. That's the best kind of thing. And yeah, it's also, it definitely doesn't suffer from being like a reboot effectively, in that it's like, it's still the same characters and stuff, but it's like, it is, I guess, in the future further than the series, but same director and everything and showrunner behind everything. So it's still like gonna have the same feel, and he knows that world so well that he's just sort of playing around in that space, you know?
Oh yeah, well he's been thinking about this film and trying to get it made for, I think the plan was in the 90s to start it. And
oh my god.
It got pushed back to the early 2000s, and then they were all set to shoot it, and then they had to stop because they couldn't go into the desert while the Iraq War was kind of big.
Right, yeah. I'm reading here that he started, development started back in 1987.
Yeah.
And then, continued, like he had the idea then, and then like wanted to start shooting in 2001, 2003, and then in 2009 actually started filming.
Yeah. And at one point they were like, we can't do this. It's going to have to be animated or something like that. Like if you want to do it.
Because it's too.
This director also made Happy Feet.
I know, right?
Everyone needs to know.
It's the best. That's the best fact, right? That he made all the Mad Maxes and Happy Feet.
Yeah, and Babe, Pig in the City.
Wild.
But
canon that they're all the same universe, for real.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like Happy Feet is just dealing with like the Arctic apocalypse.
Yeah. It's all right.
But famously, Happy Feet was because this old grizzled cameraman he was talking to, George Miller, the director, said to him like, "Oh, you think the desert's tough? You should go to Antarctica. You've got to make a movie about Antarctica. You've got to make Mad Max, but in Antarctica."
Oh my god!
And then he was like, "Okay, sweet," but then just made it about dancing penguins.
I mean, yeah, that's great. It's if it was Mad Max but in Antarctica, I feel like that would work. But the fact that he was goaded into making Happy Feet is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Okay.
But yeah, they were going to make this animated, but they called that off because he'd already built some of the cars. He just had them.
Oh my god, that's sweet.
So cool, right?
We'll get to it. Well, I'm gonna gush about every part of this movie coming up, but I'm gonna save bits for when it's more relevant, I suppose, because we've got a bit of movie to go.
Sorry. So that's the first frame.
Yeah, that's the opening frame of the movie. The first 3 seconds.
Yeah.
He fucking drives off in his sweet car over some breathe, and immediately is in trouble. Is being pursued by some war boys on bikes. They're coming up behind him in hot pursuit, and a jeep thing, I guess. And they've got these spears with explosives attached to the end of them as their key weapon. We're going to see a lot of these over the course of the movie. It's great. Just throwing this bomb attached to a spear at a car and it exploding it's great visual. It's so dynamic and reads really well in the frame. You can see exactly what's going on. It's really sweet.
That's the other beauty of this movie is everything is designed so you understand what's going on. Wide open spaces, things are often in the center of the screen, or they'll speed up or slow down if it's the frame rate, if it's going to be too confusing.
Yeah, this is one of the movie's great successes is the
Yeah.
clarity with which you can read everything that's happening on screen. There's something that a lot of the action movies can get really, really, really wrong. Like
Yes, for sure.
Transformers and things like that, for example, where it's just like a mess of CGI on screen
Yeah.
clashing together and you have no idea what's happening. This is another reason why I like the movie Pacific Rim, and that like the robots are moving so slowly, but they're so detailed that you can see like exactly what's happening, and everything has like weight behind it. You know?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So Mad Max is the same way, and that they always make it clear exactly what you're seeing, and like block out shots in a way so it's not just like a mess of explosions, which it could well be.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, but no, this movie was like storyboarded to all hell. I believe like storyboards instead of a script were made as well.
Yeah.
So it was like a visual novel before it was a film, you know? Amazing. But
So
yeah.
cool.
So yeah, we get a little bit of like flashback stuff here as Max has been captured and taken away over the old breathe vocal kicking in. And yeah, this flashback stuff again is like cutting back to old movie stuff. His like dead daughter and stuff that he's having PTSD kind of flashbacks to.
Yeah, well, actually, because he had a son in the first one.
Oh, okay.
So it's another kind of rebooty thing, but I kind of like it. Is like we're just getting a flashback to something that's happened off screen. We're kind of like between all his adventures that they've made films into. He also let this kid down.
Right. So it's sort of unrelated, but yeah, you can see that he's got this like horrific troubled past of people that he's let down in the past, and but yeah, it's also his monologue continues over top of this, and he says that he's a man reduced to a single instinct, and it's to survive. It's great.
Yeah. And that's exactly when Pink Floyd say all your life will ever be, and then when he says survive, they say run, which is like his other thing that he's all about.
Yeah, true.
Heck
Too
yeah.
true. Nice. Oh yeah, I'm getting excited about the syncs in this movie, Gareth. Oh my god. So yeah, there's a really another like sweet little detail here. They do this like tattoo across his back, because he's being used as a blood bag or used as like a just a body to be like harvested for the cause of this citadel that he's now been taken to. But yeah, it like describes every part of him as if he were like livestock, like tattooed onto his body. Notably, he's a universal donor of blood, which is going to come up multiple times. And On the Run starts up here as soon as he tries to escape. Like they're trying to like brand him like across the back of his neck, and he just gets up to like swivels and tries to escape, and that's exactly when On the Run kicks in for this like quick chase sequence at the start. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so perfect.
Yes, excellent. This chase sequence, again, intercut with like flashes of the people that he's let down in his life. And
very similar to this album as well, like the little flashes of audios of like vocals and interviews and like weird plane sound effects and stuff are very similar.
Yeah, it's a nice little match there with the old cutting back and forth between these two things, and it's a similar kind of tone feeling for both parts. But yeah, like he makes it to this door, bursts through this door, and nearly falls to his death as it's just a back bus door, I feel like, or like a van door that just opens out into an open cliff face.
Yeah,
which is great. Why would you have this door? I don't know.
War boys are crazy.
Makes a great shot, but we see like this whole scene of like where he actually is. He's inside this huge mountain with like nice vegetation and stuff growing on top of it. This will become relevant as well because they're in like this huge desert, and this is like one of the only places where things grow. And it's like suspended at like 500 feet in the air or something, and tries to get away, but is pulled back inside by this like whole host of war boys who like pull him in and then cover his face, and that's where we get the title cards. I think that's so sweet. Oh, I really love it there.
Yeah, it's such a shame that the title card is like the visual equivalent of the crash sound from On the Run, but it's like a minute or so too early.
Right. I wish it hit at the same time. That would have been perfect. Just we would have had to have too much chase sequence throughout.
Yeah, true.
That's another instance where they have really high frame rate to make it look like Max is just like making snap decisions super fast and just like running around freaking out. He's in like a really crazed state trying to get away, like a frightened animal sort of.
Yeah.
This is so yeah, after the title card, it cuts to the back of Furiosa's neck, implying she's got like the brand that Max was going to get, implying that Max has been branded at this stage. I think he does. But yeah, like it's like a really nice either side of the title card, like linking these two characters. And yeah, we're introduced to Furiosa here, who's prepping for a journey with the war rig. She's a fucking badass already. She's got a prosthetic arm. And like amazing makeup. She's got like oil or something across the across her forehead down to her eyes. And it just looks sick. It's
yeah.
Yeah, Charlize Theron playing
Cypher herself.
Cypher. Yeah.
And one of the greatest characters of like the last 20 years.
If I had to trust anyone to control a bunch of cars, it's gonna be Charlize, right?
Oh yeah.
Like both showings, she knows what she's doing. But yeah, it's great. All the war boys in the background are like preparing for this journey that's about to begin, and they're chanting out this like prayer to all these different things, talking about what their value and stuff. Just like really small little like world building things in this movie that are just slotted in, and you just never notice. It just like the world in this movie, it just feels so rich and so like you can tell this guy has just been living in this world for years. He knows exactly like every part of it, and that's like one of the best things. That's one of my favorite things about cinema, is that it can like transport you to this completely other world, you know? Yeah, it's fantastic just being here and like seeing all these people like doing their own thing, and like it just makes sense. Oh, it's rad.
It's such a trick, because I feel like there's a lot of comic books I've read where there's clearly a lot of thought into the world, but they've only got a time to show you a small glimpse of it.
Yeah.
And you just feel kind of like alienated. You're like, oh, well, I don't understand what that word means. And I suppose I don't read too much fantasy novels because of that reason as well. It's just like,
that's fair.
This is too much to understand your world. But like, it's really good restraint that he just shows you just enough to get your imagination like frothing. Similar to what we were saying about the two-headed lizard. Like,
I would say that that's the key difference between a good fantasy and a bad fantasy, is that like when that kind of thing catches you off guard, or it's like in your face and you're like, well, I don't know what a splendoriferous is, you know? Like that's like it doesn't work. If something pulls you out of that situation, out of the story because you don't understand, or it's some fantasy thing that doesn't make any sense, like that's where it's bad. But if you can relate to it in like a sort of human level, like of storytelling, right? You understand the stakes of what's happening in the plot and all the people involved, right? That's good. And all this fantasy stuff is just color, like filling in the blanks so that people can have like fun sword fights or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do with it, right? That's what makes a good fantasy. Like using fantasy to tell a good story. And that's exactly what this movie does, is that like it's telling a really like simple story, but a great one, and all this stuff is just filling in the background, just coloring in around the edges, and like it builds this really believable world so that all these insane things can happen in it, and it's brilliant. Like that's my my thesis on Mad Max.
Love it. Yes.
But yeah, we cut back to the film. We got crash sound here aligning with basically nothing over. It's just Immortan Joe's like first appearance. Really, he's getting like this armor put onto him. He's a key antagonist for the film. He looks fucking amazing. This costume that he's in.
Yeah,
it's like this perspex plexiglass kind of armor with like medals emblazoned on it. He's got
and fake abs.
Yep. He's got this like combination gas mask / breathing apparatus thing with like a like big sack at the back that expands and contracts when he breathes. As like it sort of like frames him like a sort of like Elizabethan ruff kind of thing at the same time. Like it's he's clearly royalty, and then he's like much like his war boys, he's all like white and washed out. He's got this long messed up hair. Fucking love him. Morton Joe, like the whole character is summed up by his look. You can take one look at this guy and you're like, oh shit, it's Desert Darth Vader. Okay. Like, hell yeah. Like that's his whole deal. It's great. But yeah, here he is. He like comes out over the clocks in time, busting in as he's ready to address the like, crowds of people that are all gathered at the base of his big mountain citadel where he lives with all the war boys. And they're all like cheering to him. He's the leader of these people, effectively. They only really follow him because he provides a very small amount to help them. That he has access to a water well thing. I think it's like pumped out of the ground here, and he distributes the water in very small amounts to the masses. In this moment, sorry, I'm coughing. I need a glass of water. Hold on. Speaking of...
like the characters.
I'm bloody parched, mate. I'm out in the desert.
I will say, so we've got this villain with big, ridiculous hair who leads an army of, like, angry, young, pale men and, like, holds himself rallies and, like, all this stuff. If this movie had come out 2 years after 2015, it would have been way too on the nose. Instead, this movie comes out a month before Donald Trump announces he's running for president. Like, did he watch this movie and go like, hey, that gives me an idea?
He watches and relates so hard to a Morton Joe. Fuck. I mean, maybe. Like, he's like, I could build that empire where everyone's starving for water, everyone's dying of thirst, and I'm the one who provides.
I get longer hair, I get to wear some armor.
Yeah.
I could drive a cool car.
I could see that bleak future, you know.
Yeah.
Oh god. Thankfully it didn't happen. Ladies and gents, listeners, everything's fine. We don't have an Immortan Joe leader yet. We've got Immortan Joe Biden instead.
Oh, you've said that, and now some like alt-right dork is just like being activated.
Oh fuck, I'm sorry. I don't like a fucking sleeper agent. Oh god. This is my comedy curse, is that I accidentally bring the alt-right out somehow.
Oh god.
I hate that. That's the worst.
Satire too good?
Yeah, who knows? You tell us, listeners. God. I in no way support the alt-right. Sweeping statement. They distribute the water out of these like three big water pipes, and they all like scamper and fight each other trying to get the water, and it's only for like a few seconds as well. And presumably he's not doing this every day. He's kind of a bastard, a cruel dictator, if you will.
Oh heck yeah.
And he even says that you should not become addicted to water, which is amazing. Just great dialogue.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, Orwellian. Fucking amazing. The convoy rolls out as we getting into Time's vocal kicking in. It's like immediately after his speech is completed, we get into the vocal, and it's like, cool. Here we go.
Pink Floyd were waiting for him to stop speaking before they started singing.
Very polite, it works. They're going out to fetch the gas and bullets, which are the like other than water, they're the two key commodities of this world, right? We've got this is what this whole society runs on. And I just love, it's so cartoony and cliche, but I do love it that each of these things have their own towns that they visit. There's Gas Town and like the Bullet Farm, and that's just where they are. It's so good. Oh my god. And yeah, so meanwhile, Max is just like chilling in this cage, and then he's being used as a human blood bag for one of the war boys, Nux here, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we meet him right now. No, we don't.
I think we sort of do. He gets like plugged in, but we don't really get.
We
to
don't
see
really
his face.
see him yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Furiosa's like starts her plan at this stage. She starts like drifting off road, off course from where she's supposed to be going. And the convoy are like, oh shit, is this some kind of like secret mission that we're on? Okay.
Yeah.
I do love that they just sort of buy into what she's doing at the start. They're just like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. And yeah, we go back to this is our first sign that something's up. But yeah, we cut back to the old Immortan Joe Citadel, and there are all these like, this is another little detail thing. There's all these like mothers being milked, like attached to like cow milk things, milk machines. It's messed up, but that's what's going on. Milk is like another weird thing that's going on in this movie. This is called mother's milk, literally.
Yeah.
Throughout.
And like, we find out one of the big tanks on the war rig is just full of this milk.
Yeah.
It's like what they're trading.
I think they do this as like a trick for the bikers, right? Later on when they're going to trade the like huge amount of gas, they instead filled it up with mother's milk as like, because they had access to way more of that than they did gas. And so they did that, and they'll be like, oh, here you go, here's the gas. So it was always going to go south, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what was going on there anyway. That's just a theory from old James. I don't know if that's canon or not. But yeah, meanwhile, yeah, this is where Immortan figures out something's going on. He's hanging out with his sons. Here we've got what are both their names? What the big guy's called Rictus Erectus, which is like fantastic naming. Who's the little guy? Because there's like a little guy who's hanging out in a little chair.
He has a very hard name to Google because I tried to figure that out as well. What his character's name was. Corpus Colossus.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Another good name.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, they spot the convoy going off course, and Joe's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And he races off through some like hallways and stuff through this big safe door, like a bank safe style vault that he unlocks to this like huge birdcage like room where he keeps all his wives. He has 5 wives that he keeps there that have all escaped, and they've like graffitied the walls and floors and stuff. They've written, "Our babies will not be warlords." Over the top of the door, they've written, "Who killed the world?" And further on, they wrote, "We are not things" as well, which is amazing. That's all like this is the reasons for their escape, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Furiosa has gone rogue and taken these wives, tried to rescue them, and that's the plan. That's in action right now. And so yeah, he's pretty pissed. And so he sends out the crew, all his boys.
He sends out literally everybody in his employment.
Like the whole army, basically, except for like the children war boys, which are unable to go. But yeah, everybody is getting ready, and here is where we meet Nux, our key character Warboy here. Right as we get into Great Gig as well. It's like we get the opening chords of Great Gig as we meet Nicholas Hoult as Nux, crushing it. Love him from Skins. It's where I know him from.
At this point it was the same.
You know?
He's done amazing stuff.
Yeah, I loved him in The Great as well. Check that one out. That's
he's amazing in The Great. That's my second favorite Nicholas Hoult performance.
Hell yeah. But yeah, here he is hanging out. He's like having an argument with his like brother, quote unquote. I don't know. Where they're wanting to, they're all grabbing these steering wheels from like an altar of skulls. ready to get going because the steering, like the right to drive, is like this whole religious practice amongst the war boys, you know, and so it's all they've got their whole society built around it, and they're basically what they live for is to like ride and die on the Fury Road. You know? That's the whole vibe of the war boys. It's great. And so they're like posturing between each other about wanting to get out there, and Nux himself has like a blood weakness because most of the war boys are like fucked up from radiation, I believe, and that they've all, a lot of them, like a lot of them have like messed up tumors and stuff on their bodies, and they're all like they've got like horrific white skin that's all flaking off and stuff, you know. Yeah, it's the whole thing that's going on to them. I guess he's like trying to do this like experiments to make like better warriors, maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's just the effects of the apocalypse affecting these people. I don't know. I think it's a bit of both, and probably like he's not sharing any, you know, medicines or anything with them, so they're getting sicker as they like get older and breed and stuff. But he's literally hooked up to Max by a like blood transfusion device here. He's getting like blood pumped into him because, again, Max is a universal donor, and so giving him blood so that he will survive. So he's not supposed to be going anywhere because he's sick, and they were like, they bond over being like wanting to die amazingly on the Fury Road in a blaze of glory. It's like, okay, you can drive. So we'll hook up the blood bag to the front of the car. And so, they strap Max, who's wearing like a metal muzzle on his face, to the front of this like Jeep. As they're rolling out. We see all these really amazing cars, which they made. All of these are real props, like these huge vehicles that have been altered and covered in like spikes and stuff. It looks amazing. There's Morton Joe's car is like 3 like Cadillacs like Frankenstein together into like a monster truck, which is amazing. They all have their own like unique designs, and it's just I just love letter to that because it's very much like a comic book brought to life. Oh heck yeah, because you could just draw this fine. Hell yeah, like, you like cars, draw me a car, why not? But to make all of these cars and just have them, I'm glad they got to make this. They're all drivable and they're all safe for the film is the other crazy thing. Like they look insanely unsafe, but they're all real. It's great. I think it was Steven Spielberg that said like, I can't believe A, that they're not still making that movie, and B, that nobody died. Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, we're about to get to some insane stunts. Oh my goodness, coming up, but this is also where so everyone's riding out in this big war party, and this is also where we get introduced to the Doof Warrior, who I want special shout outs to the Doof Warrior because what an insane concept brought to life. He's the literal like it's this car that is a stack of war drums on the back with people like playing like bashing these drums, and then just this wall of amplifiers and a man suspended in what can be described as like a red onesie and with like a insane like skull mask strapped to his face. He's suspended by like a whole bunch of like trapeze kind of things or like wires in the air while playing a double-necked guitar that shoots fire. Like that that's the description of what we're seeing on screen, and it's the best thing. It's the best thing ever committed to film. Heck yeah. And the fact like the guitar worked, does shoot fire. And like, so the guy who auditioned, so, okay, this is what I mean in that George Miller wrote a full backstory for the Doof Warrior. And then the guy who plays him, Iota, is his stage name, came in like for the audition, covered himself in dirt. And I was like, I want to be your Doof Warrior. And then hung there for like 3 months, just like improvising on the guitar and just having the best time. Hell yeah. That's a fantastic story. What a guy. To be the Duff Warrior.
Yeah. Honestly, if society starts to go in any way further south, I'm getting a Duff Warrior ready.
Holy shit.
I'm auditioning for Duff Warrior.
It's that, like, most people prepare for the apocalypse by getting, like, canned food, but Garrett's just training a warrior guitarist.
Yeah. Why do you think I've kept this friendship going?
Oh, okay. I see.
Hey, James,
right.
Can you play the guitar at the stag do? Get back into the guitar, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, okay. All right, well.
Hey, James, the weather's a bit bad. Can I strap you to a car now?
There's no room in the car, James. How would you feel about just riding on the front for a little bit?
You're hanging there playing a guitar on the front of my Toyota RAV4.
That's basically the same, right?
Yeah, true.
Could you play a little louder, James? My radio doesn't work.
Yeah.
I've run out of Alicia Keys CDs. I need to... Could you turn it up, mate? Sing a little louder. Put on this onesie. Yeah. Oh, I love the Duff Warrior. Special shout outs to you on the show.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Duff Warrior listens to Pink Floyd.
Fucking A. He's listened to every song that's available in the apocalypse. He's like,
yeah.
He has the only record collection to survive.
Yeah.
So he knows every song ever. And that's it. That's who he is. That's his power.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we get a brief interaction between Nux and Immortan that I'm not really going to get into. Just like showing off that like Nux is like obsessed with Immortan Joe on the same kind of level as all the other war boys. He's like a fanatical follower of him. And
yeah.
Freaks out that he even gets looked at him by Immortan, you know. And yeah, the war rig meanwhile is like entering enemy territory. And we see some other native people out here. Someone called, these guys are called buzzards. And their key difference is that their cars are covered in like rusty iron spikes.
Yeah.
And they just look like Tusken Raider dudes. They get like full desert gears on at all times.
Mm.
And they're just, out here to cause trouble. There's a big battle with some buzzards. As, the crew don't really know what's up still, but they're like, we'll fight these guys. This is what we do. It's all good.
Yeah.
We get some sick stunts already. The buzzards, I want to point this out. I didn't notice this until this watch. That one of their cars has like a full excavator, like a Tonka truck excavator attached to the front as a weapon, which is great. It's never used, but I just love that it exists. They've also got the one that does a lot of messing up of the war rig is this it's got like a circular saw attached to an arm or like several that are spinning at once, and it just jams into the side of the truck. It's amazing. I've just seen that my notes have been auto-corrected to, instead of Immortan Joe, it's Important Joe is here with his war boys. They show up and they're ready to intercept and join in on this fight, but they know what's up, so they're coming in to stop everyone in their tracks effectively. We get a sort of brief intro to what the war boys again are all about here, dying like gloriously, like Vikings or something like that, the equivalent. One of the war boys, he gets like shot by a series of crossbow bolts and is dying, and he sprays his mouth with silver spray paint and like goes all shiny and chrome is what is like said at the time, and calls out for the rest of the war boys to witness him. He's witness me, and then sacrifices himself by jumping onto the car, the buzzard's car, and jamming it with an explosive spear. So goes out in a literal explosion, and this is like very typical end to a war boy's life, I believe.
This is what they all want, for sure.
Yeah, fun fact, after this movie, edible silver spray paint for like cakes and stuff spiked massively. It was like the only thing that you couldn't buy.
There's like an Amazon page for this stuff, and like all but 2 of the reviews are in character as people pretending to be war boys.
That's the best.
Yeah.
All the other like colors of these paints are normal, and then it's just like, we die shiny and chrome. It's like, what? It's like some grandparent like making an anniversary cake, just not knowing what's going on. Oh, I love it.
The spray that this guy does as well is perfectly in time with that descending scale in the Soul of Money.
I really wish he was jumping and like mid like descending scale there. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's still pretty good. That's still a sync.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fight basically just keeps going. I'm not going to sit here and describe every stunt that happens in this movie because we'd be here for like 4 hours, and because they're very extensive and impressive.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just going to hit like some key ones and then move on. Basically, is my plan for this.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. So the fight continues, and Max and Nux and Nux's brother are all here, and they get ahead because they're riding out ahead, and they head straight. They're heading straight for this huge, enormous dust storm that's on the horizon. I think this is like a thunderstorm, but it's like whipped up into this huge tornado of dust because we're out in the desert. This is amazing. As soon as they enter the dust storm, we get the line cruising for a bruising right at the end of Money.
Yes.
And yeah, as part of a series of events, basically, Max gets let off of his the front of the car in order to counterweight, I think, a flat tire or something. They're like dragging and getting behind, so they have to cut him free. And then the brother gets thrown off the car, and Max is hanging on behind. But as soon as they enter the storm, he can't really do anything because he's just blasted back by this huge force of wind and sand, and it's awful. Inside the storm, it's glorious. There's just like wind whipping around, flashes of light and lightning. It's a really impressive display of CGI here.
Yeah, some of the rare CGI in this film as well.
Yeah, definitely. All the storm is obviously fake, but it looks fantastic. There's a really beautiful shot of this. The Warrig like nudges a car who's in pursuit off to the side, and it gets whipped up into the air and like sort of implodes in the force of the storm, and it in like slow motion, and it just looks outstanding. It's great. As part of the chase, Nux like decides like he's in this horrific lightning storm. He's like, this is how I'm gonna die. And so starts filling the car with like gasoline and tries to ram it in front of the Warrig, and like totals his car, destroying it, and the Warrig itself is damaged but keeps going. And he also doesn't explode because the flare that he lights is just sort of thrown out the front of the car and doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, Max gets it. Yeah,
so he massively fails, but anyway. And that's it. That's the like first big chase sequence, and we've sort of been going like a mile a minute for the last 20 minutes straight. It's just been one long chase sequence here. But get ready, because that's the first of like 12. It's so good. This movie, it's just one long chase sequences with brief moments to catch your breath. And that's the structure. And it's the best thing. Once we get out of that, we've got we're mid us and them, I believe. No, we can't be that far. Yes, we are. We are mid us and them. And it's just we get a shot of like a very long shot of Max just lying in the sound, slowly like coming to, and over the lines, a short, sharp shock is when he like springs into action. He just sort of like springs up, freaking out, like not like being surprised that he's even alive, I think.
Yeah.
And so that's a sweet sync. He like sort of tries to figure out the situation. He's still chained to Nux, who is lying unconscious in the wreckage of his car, attached to like Nux's hand or arm. And he's still wearing this horrific like muzzle across his face. He tries to blow Nux's arm off, which he's attached to with a shotgun, but it doesn't fire because it's full of sand.
Yeah,
which is a sweet little detail. I love this. This is the like Chekhov's gun, but in reverse, and that this gun is fucked and will never fire, but it's used multiple times in a way because it can't fire. It's brilliant. It's very fun. He sees the war rig over in the distance and like picks up Nux and the car door that Nux is attached to and brings them both. He's just like, well, this is what's happening. And rounds the side of the old war rig and sees all these wives. All the wives are like basking and bathing in the water after the storm.
Yeah, removing all their like terrible cages and stuff that they had to wear.
They're wearing like chastity belts on them, basically, which they're like cutting free with some bolt cutters. Very convenient. He like we get into any color you like, and like Max is leveling his gun at the crew here, which we know doesn't fire. So he like uses the situation to get some water, and then they have a bit of a fight. Furiosa like they sort of battle to the death here, effectively.
Yeah.
In the scuffle, Max manages to find another gun, which is just inside a skull on the side of the war rig.
Which, again, tells you a whole story just looking at it.
It's so good. That later on, inside the war rig, where there's just guns all over the place. Just hidden in new ones. Secret compartments everywhere. It's just, it says a lot about this world. It's very good. So he manages to take control of the situation with this gun, and he is basically going to drive away in the war rig and leave. And the ladies are like pleading to him that they're going to this fabled green place. This a place where things grow, and it's like this Garden of Eden kind of idea, I guess. An idyllic escape from Morton Joe, and But he sort of knocks out Nux and just leaves them in the rig, drives away. It's pretty rude.
Yeah, it's so rude.
That's the end of the film. No, it's fine. The war rig itself, it stops in its tracks because there are kill switches inside.
Yeah.
And so without Furiosa, they aren't going to be able to drive the war rig. Max won't be able to drive the war rig. So he's like, right, okay, Furiosa, you can come with me then. Fine. And she's like, I'm not leaving.
It's so good how awkward Max is, just as a person.
Yeah.
Because I guess you would be if you haven't spoken to anyone in years.
Yeah, and
he's just like, you can get in.
Yeah, he's very removed in terms of like, we keep seeing these flashes of him regretting interacting with people in the past. So he's like very cut off from people in general, that he doesn't speak to them. And then, that the extra layer there of him like feeling like he'll only betray anyone he gets into contact with, or he's very like short with everyone, he eventually through some negotiations everyone's going to tag along except Nux, who's still left behind. He like hitches a wee ride on the back of the little egg on the back. What would you call this thing? The pod? The gas pod? It's the thing that they're going to trade, which is full of milk later on. Everyone's hanging out in the cab of this giant war rig at the end of playthrough 1. And this is, we're getting he's like finding all the guns, as I was talking about. And so this is like setting up the next stage of the film. The key cast has been brought together here at the end of playthrough 1. All the characters are in place. It's great. Getting in playthrough 2. Here we go. At this moment in my notes, by the way, and right at the end of playthrough 2, like playthrough 1, sorry, final chords of Eclipse rolling through, I hear a timer go off in real life. And I don't know why. I don't know. There's no one in my house except for me at this time. I'm pretty sure it must have been my neighbors. But like, it's like an egg timer just went off. And I was like, what?
How long did it keep going off for?
Not long. It was just like the ding at the end of an egg timer. And it felt very final and good, but
right at the end of the album.
I was scared of real life suddenly syncing with the thing that I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wanted to note that and then move on. It doesn't happen.
Life's turning into a video game for you, and you've just achieved like
a
round number of Pink Floyd listens.
Oh no, who's the player character here? I don't know.
Neither of us.
But yeah, we're getting into the next part. All the people we see that the war party has been joined by members of the Bullet Farm and Gastown have come along. The Gastown guy is called the People Eater. That's his name.
Yeah, and his hobby.
Yeah, fair enough. He's got like this nose covering, which I don't know about. Later on, we see that he's got really fucked up bound feet.
Yeah.
That's his deal.
And he has little holes in his shirt to just let his nipples feel the desert air.
Hey, man. That's what he likes. He likes eating people.
I've got nothing against that.
Feeling the breeze. Oh, no. He's breathing in the air as we get into breathe through his nipples.
There we go.
And Max goes back to check on why this fuel pod starts like dragging. Nux has like sabotaged it and is sneaking up to the front, and he makes a very futile attempt to strangle Furiosa, and then is like immediately thrown out the side of the car because he's like weak and inept. I guess because he's a sick war boy, you know. But yeah, they sort of like argue with Nux. The wives do. They argue with him about like his rationale behind what he does. You know, why does he follow Immortan Joe? They're like questioning his ethics and all this stuff because they're coming from different perspectives about who Immortan Joe is and what he represents. So yeah,
Nux has been completely like indoctrinated and worships him his whole life, whereas the wives know the real guy.
Yeah, so it's interesting here that like he's having to like reassess his worldview as he's being tossed from a moving vehicle.
What a combo.
Yeah, it's a bad time for Nux. It's about to get worse. We get a Race Towards an Early Grave playing here. The little vocal indent. Good times as we get into On the Run. The last lines of Breathe there as we go into the canyon. The next obstacle here. It's weird here that we get into On the Run over not like a big chase sequence. I was hoping that every time it would align with something like that. Again, like shooting fish in a barrel, but amazingly no. At this instance, it's more of like we get to slow down to a stop.
The opposite of what Pink Floyd wanted.
Yeah, there's a small interaction between Furiosa and Max that like she tells him how the kill switches work so that he can drive away and sort of save the rest of the wives if this thing goes south. That if this interaction with the bikers goes south, so as like a sign of good faith, really. Whereas Max is still like insanely not trusting. He's holding one of the wives like hostage, and that he has the rest go back inside the other like tank part of the rig, but keeps one like close so that Furiosa like doesn't try anything. So it just shows the like disparity where like Furiosa is like desperately, she's not like trying to bargain with him anymore. She's just like, this is how it is going. And so this is what I care about. So she just, I thought that was nice that she gives him this like little piece here. And it's like, he even refuses to tell her his name in this moment as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, when I yell fool, then do this, which is great. And yeah. So yeah, she tries to do this gambit thing with the old pod at the back, tries to offer it to the bikers, and the bikers are like, now, you said there might be a few people following you, but there's
it's
like...
literally the population of the three scariest towns.
Yeah, it's like everyone we know within like 400 kilometers is here chasing you. So they're kind of pissed about this, and she's like, okay, it's not gonna go well. And then the rest of the war party is rolling up behind them, closing in because they've stopped. And yeah, the clocks all go off here. Oh, the crash sound doesn't go over anything, notably.
Yeah.
It's just her like getting out of the car, and the clocks go off as the war party rolls in, and when Furiosa calls out to Max to like go, she's like, fool, go. And yeah, they drive on, and the next part begins. Yeah, these bikers, they collapse like the big ravine here.
Yeah.
Sort of blockading the rest of the war party from continuing on, or slowing their progress somewhat anyway. Most of the vehicles can't get past this.
Yeah.
And yeah, they sort of chase after the war rig on their bikes. Nux, we see that everyone's like pulled up at this, at the other side of the blockade, trapped, and Nux like has caught up here as well, and is brought aboard Immortan Joe's car because he has a sort of sign of life that the wives are alive. He's got like a piece of fabric from one of their dresses or something. And so,
and he kind of knows what the war rig is like and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's got insider info about what's going on. So
yeah,
he's brought on, and it's great for Nux. He's like, hell yeah, I get to meet my like savior. Meanwhile, these bikers are like in hot pursuit of the war rig. I love them just like jumping across the road in front of and above the war rig, just toss like lobbing grenades into it. Oh, it's great. Amazing. Like this just kind of sweet stunt that is like done for real.
Yeah.
Like having...
in addition to the stunt people, he had Cirque du Soleil performers and like Olympic athletes.
Oh my god!
Like, round out this crew.
Insane.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. In this moment, the little pod rolls off and explodes. I guess this must mean it is full of gas. Then I just noticed.
Yeah, it must be the big one that's full of milk. Then.
Yeah, just a lot of milk and a little bit of gas.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Weird.
That's my coffee order. Gross.
Yeah, like a flat white, trim flat white. A
little bit of petrol.
A lot of milk. A little bit of gas. Just that little kick to get up and go, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my god. There's some so they sort of are harried by these bikers, and it's just lots of gunfights breaking out where they're shooting them as they're flying over the road. It's great. The slow part in time comes up as the Immortan Joe has like circumvented the blockade because he's got huge monster truck wheels, and he's closing in, and he like levels a gun to shoot Furiosa, who's at the driver's seat, but the wives hang out of the car and protect in this like really great shot. We see what's her name?
Rosie Huntington Whiteley's character.
Yes.
By the way, these wives have the worst names.
They super do. Yeah. Her name is Splendid Angharad, but I'll just say Splendid for ease of speaking. She's like heavily pregnant and is like leaning out in this flowing white dress, and all the wives are gathered like around protecting her. It's a really beautiful shot. And
oh heck yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot while showing very little. It's cool. So yeah, he's like forced to back off for a bit, but yeah, trying to get still get there. He sends Nux in too. He's like, "You get aboard there and get the wives out. Go. This is your time to shine, boy."
I will personally take you to Valhalla, and he sprays his mouth with the cake decorator.
Yeah. Very, very good moment for Nux, but he bloody blows it. He jumps onto the side. He's handed a pistol as well to like take out Furiosa, and like jumps onto the side and immediately is like knocked off, dropping the pistol. It's very sad. And Morton's like mediocre and just drives on. Rough as guts for Nux. And yeah, we get into Great Gig as Morton takes the opportunity himself to try and stop this. He gets his boys to fire a harpoon at the steering wheel of the of the war rig, tearing it free. And so they've got to drive with like the bolt cutters attached to the little stick where the steering wheel was. Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh. But yeah, it's very. This is the rough bit where, in order to try and get away, the wives are helping out and crawling all over the sides of the war rig, including Splendid, who thinks that they're getting away and everything's fine, and is about to climb up, but slips and tragically falls off the side, and Morton sees her fall and like drives his car like hard left, flipping it, like trying to avoid hitting her, but does run her down. It's awful. Everyone hated that. And she still dies in this moment, even though he like swerved to avoid her. But yeah, it's awful. This happening over Great Gig though really works, and then it's like this really tragic moment.
Because there's like a fake out that happens where you think she's fallen off the car and she kind of had ducked back, and that happens when they're saying "I'm not frightened of dying" on the Pink Floyd album. And then it's just the worst fake out, because then immediately after it happens again, and this time she does fall.
She does for real die. I don't know why they filmed it that way. Maybe it's just to like really show that it was this awful accident, you know.
Yeah, it definitely gets you a lot worse, the like surprise, because you think you're playing by the rules of the movie. It's like close one.
Yeah, but no. Tragedy strikes. And everyone, they managed to get away because Immortan Joe's like flipped his car in performing this maneuver. And everyone's stressing out. One of the wives wants to run back and rejoin them. I believe Cheeto is her name.
Cheeto the Fragile.
Yeah.
Played by Courtney Eaton.
There you go.
If you have trouble remembering that, gang, Courtney Eaton, Cheetos.
Eating Cheetos.
Right? No?
Delicious. No, I got it. That's good.
Okay, Phil. My ego on that joke was a lot like Cheeto. Fragile.
Oh, wow. There we are. Here he is. So she wants to like run back and cut their losses, but Furiosa kills like some scouting bikers that are trying to again capture them, and so it's no good. And they're driving on. There's a bit of discussion of the green place again here over Great Gig, talking about people's motivations and stuff. It's like another breather moment. I'm glad this happens over Great Gig as well. We get some motivations from Furiosa, and also Nux, who is stowed away in the back of the war rig after this confrontation. He's very sad because he thinks that he will never get into Valhalla now, and that he's like failed Immortan Joe completely. And another one of the wives goes back there and like discovers him and like comforts him in this moment, and it's really lovely. A little fun fact here as well is that Nux has named each of his little like tumor bumps on his necks. I believe like Gary and Larry.
Barry and Harry and Barry.
Harry and Barry. That's it. Yeah.
I was talking about this with someone else, and neither of us could get. We both chose different names again, and they were different to the names you've given.
Oh my god! Well, it's
maybe it's like a everyone hears it different. It's the secret.
That's the only
internet address.
cut changes. But different cinemas had different bump names.
Yeah.
And every otherwise exactly the same. Oh my god.
But Nicholas Holt. Oh my god. Yeah,
that's right.
Nicholas Holt drew the faces on those himself.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
That's great because he would have done as a character as well. So
yeah,
that's hilarious. So there's like a very sweet moment here to like round out this after this tragedy. It gives you like space for it, which is very good. Like timing.
Which again, so few films do.
Yeah. They cut back to the cab now. They're like counting up all the ammunition they have, which is not much. And they drive on into the night. Now, night in this movie, we haven't seen it before now, but we've got like in the desert, everything's like very orange, obviously. But at nighttime, everything is insanely blue. It's like too blue, I would say. My one complaint about this movie is that the nighttime scenes are very blue.
Well, I think they shot all the night scenes in broad daylight as well and just color corrected it.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if that's good.
No.
It makes for good shot blocking kind of things. They use the lighting well in that like they have people holding candles and lanterns and things. And when they have
which
that,
are like insanely bright.
Yeah, it's like full color, regular coloration, but everything else is cut in this. It's almost like monochrome blue. Like it's very, very starkly different. Again, I guess going for this like graphic novel style. It's just an interesting choice they've made here. We're getting into Money solo over this harsh lighting. And this is where it's like very swampy and messed up. The rig's like getting stuck in this muck because it's very heavy and full of milk. And they set up some mines and stuff in order to like slow down the pursuers that are chasing after them. We get a like brief interaction with the baddies as well. Like they've what's going on with them during this nighttime sequence. Conversations between the bullet farmer and the people eater and Immortan himself having a chat about like what their tactics are and how much they're like wasting and losing about this situation, and they're all bickering between each other. Meanwhile, there's like a surgeon within the car that Immortan is driving, trying to revive his dead wife. It's awful. And they like he tries to like save the baby from her as well, but the baby's like too premature and dies as well. It's very awful. Stark scenes here for the baddies.
Yeah. It's also kind of because then the dumb henchman Rictus.
Yeah.
Like he even gets this beautiful moment of like humanity when he gets to kind of mourn what would have been his baby brother. Like, so sad and so like weirdly lovely.
They all like celebrate him as this warrior. They're like, I had a baby brother and he was perfect in every way, and they like call that out because that's like the way they are brought up, right? They're celebrating this tragedy effectively. It's very it is very like heartfelt kind of thing because they are a family weirdly, and that it's like it's an insanely fucked up situation, but it's a touching moment for old Rictus Erectus. Amazing. So the bullet farmer is fucking sick of waiting in this muck. He's got a car that has tank treads, which is good for him because it means that he can go across this muck easily, while the rest of the war party are fairly slowed down by this. And so he's like, I'll go, my boys and I will go in and deal with this. Don't you worry. We'll bring back the wives. It's going to be all fine. And it's like, okay. We go into Money's outro rolling in as they try and get away. Which is nice. And then we go into Us and Them as... Nux has decided basically to switch sides at this point. He's like, I'm coming along with you. I don't like. It is cool that he has like a character flip here, and that he's sort of found acceptance with these new people. Don't know if I buy it. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, it is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too like, this world is such like a horrible, cynical place. It is lovely to have this moment of humanity where like Nux like figures out he's like had like a full journey of self-discovery here. So maybe I'm just too cynical. But yeah, he is on the side of the goodies now. Here he is, our boy Nux, which is cool. But yeah,
I feel like he'd be pretty easily flipped. Like, even though
it's true,
so into Joe. Like, I think if you're the kind of person, or in this kind of world where you just unquestionably believe someone's great, like to have the chance to question it, I think you'd be like, oh, okay, sweet.
It's true. You're right. You've convinced me, really. And that he's like, see, that's how easy it is. I'm like Nux, man. I'll flip like that. Yeah, no. He's like, yeah. It's interesting because like, yeah, he's so ready to believe stuff, and when it like doesn't go, he was certain that he was going to die in a blaze of glory like multiple times. And when it doesn't happen, he feels like he's like brought to the realization that like maybe this isn't what he was here for, you know? Like, or maybe that wasn't how he was supposed to go. And so maybe sticking around with these guys, he'll be able to find what he's looking for, you know? Yeah, because he hasn't found it with following Joe's orders, you know?
Yeah,
so it could be that. I don't know. Yeah, there's a sweet bit where they're like stopped in the muck and they're trying to get away and do stuff, and Furiosa uses Max's shoulder to like steady a sniper rifle to shoot out the light of the bullet farmer's car. Just like it's a really small moment in this film, but like I think it's really important and great, and that like I think it's Max trying to shoot the gun first. He like aims the gun and can't like hold it steady enough for a shot, and he gives it to Furiosa, who steadies it on his shoulder. And I just think that's like a perfect encapsulation of what this movie's about, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's about like having these people help each other, and that's how they get through this situation, you know?
Yeah, and the fact he was willing to give up the gun and everything. Is like,
yeah, it's great. It's like showing
so much.
Showing this character development for Max as well, yeah. And yeah. Yeah, they fucking nailed the shot, and the light explodes, blinding the bullet farmer guy.
Yeah.
And like quite a funny little sequence where he like blindfolds himself and keeps going. He's coming in holding two Uzis, standing Christ-like on the front of his car, and just unloads on these people, clearly going against Immortan Joe's orders here as well. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to go home. And so he's like killing everyone is his plan. And yeah, they are desperately trying to get away while being attacked by this insane blind man. And they're using like a tree out here in the swampy swamps to like winch themselves out of the muck. It's great that the just like fun timing stuff, that the tree fully falls over into the muck when the war rig is freed. It's just like good timing stuff. I like that. It's dramatic.
Yeah.
And yeah, they managed to drive away to high ground here with Nux at the wheel, because he's like, he knows like how to handle this war rig because he's trained his entire life to drive these things.
Yeah.
You know, amazing. And yeah, at this point as well, they get away a little bit, and Max is like, I'm going to go out in the night to deal with these people because they're still out there and they need to like refuel the car to get away. And so he's like, I'll go out there into the darkness and do it. And if I don't come back, you can just drive on.
Yeah, I love that as well, because it's like, what if you're not back when we're ready? And he's like so taken aback by that idea. He's like, of course you'd leave me behind.
Yeah, it's like yeah, like he is so used to not being cared about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And then yeah, he goes out in the darkness, and there's a little like montage of them like refueling this big war rig. It's great. And yeah, he returns Max returns out of nowhere. We don't see what happened at all, but he comes back with a steering wheel, a bunch of ammunition, and even a shoe for Nux. In the sequence, I forgot to mention this in the storm. Like a little brief, fun thing is that as part of the fight, Max gets his shoe pulled off by a guy, by the Nux's brother, who's like trying to grab onto him. So he's missing a shoe for that sequence, and then he steals Nux's shoe when they're going to the war rig, and so he has shoe, and now Nux doesn't have a shoe, and so he comes back with a shoe for Nux, especially because he knew that Nux needed one. Again, that's like a really cool little detail. Yeah, it's nice. And yeah, he's covered in blood and stuff. But it's not his blood.
Yeah.
He cleans it off with a bit of milk. It's great. But yeah, it's kind of weird to me that they don't show what happened. Like I get why they did it. It's like it's more dramatic that way, but it's just like, oh, he goes out there in the night and then he comes back and he's got all the stuff, and it's like, okay, like I don't know. They show like a big explosion go off in the distance. But that's about it. You don't really...
I don't know. I kind of like it. It's like, it was just, a little too brutal. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah. It's just, Max is a badass. He just gets stuff done, You don't need to know. You've seen it all before. You already know what he's up to. And so they drive on, and this is where we get our fucking stilt rider, guys. There's like, in the distance, in this blue swamp world, there's these guys walking around on like stilts on all 4 of their appendages. Out and about. This is just how people hang out here in this swamp. It feels very Jim Henson's Labyrinth to me.
For sure, Dark Crystal kind of vibe.
Yeah, having these guys here. I love them. I reckon these are people, and this is just how they hang out here. I don't think they're like creatures or whatever, but this is just how people maneuver through this swampy world,
Yeah, it's just the way they've adapted to do it. But I love that even the characters kind of look at them like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. That's weird. They're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Even here, I've seen a lot of stuff in this one day, but that's the weirdest. They take these stilt boys, takes the cake. What is going on?
If this movie had been made in the 90s and was also a sitcom, like one of them would have just been like, don't go there.
Don't go there. That's where the stilt boys live, and the crows. There's a bunch of crows out here as well,
Yeah. I think they later call those guys crows as well, don't they?
Oh, do they? Oh, it's just like
I think so.
It's just who they are? Okay.
Yeah, unless they were actually just talking about the crows themselves.
I'm pretty sure they were talking about literal crows, yeah.
Oops.
I don't know. Could be. Either way. It fits the theme anyway. There's crows, swamps, stilt boys. It all ties together. Yeah, we get the line Down and Out singing in as over Us and Them, as you know, as Max awakens again from more like horrific visions from his dream. He's down and out in this moment. He out cold, having a sleep. Having a sleep amongst... this is like the first time he's slept in this movie, I believe, other than like being knocked out after that storm.
Which wouldn't be very restful.
No, but yeah, he wakes up and is still alive. Everything's fine. He questions Furiosa and asks her if this green place that they're looking for is even real, and she's like, "Yeah, I was born there. That's where I'm from." She like has a little bit of a moment, and she talks about how she's looking for safety for the people around her, but she's also looking for redemption for something, for failing in some way in the past. Yeah. Which isn't clear in this moment, but we'll find out more. We're getting into Any Color You Like as the war rig is back in the desert, pulling up in more desert dunes. And we see this watchtower that Furiosa remembers, and there's a like naked woman up there hanging out.
Yeah.
Just like calling out.
Interestingly, they CGI'd underwear onto her for some markets.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. But not New Zealand, because we were scucks. We got it.
Yeah, man, we're fine. It's all good. We can see, we know what the body looking like. It's all good.
Yeah.
She's up there just, calling out. This is where we get there's a meme update with James. Hello, welcome to meme update. It's James.
Oh, finally, my favorite, the reason I tune in.
Yeah.
Meme update.
This is where we get the it's bait meme. There's a little, just a brief segment of, Mad Max pointing up at this and going, that's bait.
Oh,
yeah.
And that's a meme?
Yeah, it is. It's like when someone's trying to like bait someone else into an argument, they'll be like, they'll just send this this gif of Mad Max going like, that's bait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That was meme update.
Another beautiful episode. I can't wait till it wins a Pulitzer.
Yeah, I don't want to be famous for a meme update. That's no good. This podcast, sure, but like a meme update within a podcast, no, thank you. I'll take my lumps. I'll get out of there. Don't want it. Oh man.
I remember I was with two friends who were talking about a meme and I didn't understand it, and I searched it up and I ended up clicking on the Washington Post's explanation of like what does "their good dogs brought" or whatever it was mean.
Oh no.
And I had to be like, oh guys, I'm not cool. I'm trusting the Washington Post.
Yes, it's fine.
memes.
I'm signed to their newsletter so I can get in. Yeah. I'm not behind the paywall.
It's me and like one elderly senator trying to get like hip, and we're both learning about memes from the same source. Yeah,
it's you and whoever updates the president about memes. He's giving his own meme reports that are like all sourced.
Oh, I would not be surprised if that exists.
That's probably real, right? Like a cultural expert, maybe, for like the internet. Yeah. Internet historians.
They probably almost definitely got them after Obama. Like Obama didn't need one, but they're like, future presidents are going to need this guy.
Yeah, they're going to need to. The average age of the president, like they typically aren't going to get the memes, so they need that help. Secretary of Memes. Oh no.
And then Joe Biden's explaining to them like the latest Garfield comic. he gets that.
Yes. It's like, have you guys heard of Dilbert? Love this guy. Oh no. Yeah, so anyway, so they pull up here and Furiosa comes out of the car and talks about her mother and her family. And then, all these old ladies on motorbikes pull up. These ladies, they're called the Vuvalini, is their like tribe, and they're badasses. They're just a bunch of old women who have been hanging out here as like a society of cool women, and that's their whole deal. They used to live in the Green Place, but as we find out over a bit of brain damage, that the Green Place is indeed the swamp that they've just driven through, and it's been all messed up and poisoned, and it's uninhabitable now unless you've got a pair of stilts or 4 sets of stilts, I guess. Because you've got to get your hands involved if you want to get in that swampy swamp. But it's very sad. Only these old mothers remain, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's so Ash Furious is learning that there is no green place, no grass-covered home. Pink Floyd sing that the lunatic is on the grass and the lunatic is in my home.
Dang.
Pink Floyd suggesting that Hope is a lunatic?
Perhaps. That's one of a sampled explosion from the movie Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
And she's like all messed up by this news. She goes and out into the desert and just takes off her prosthetic arm, which is, I don't think we've mentioned. Maybe we have. She's got a really cool like robotic prosthetic arm thing that she does. She takes that off and just collapses into the sand, like crying out in anguish. Because she feels like she's lost that chance at redemption. She's failed again in this moment. It's really awful, and it's really well acted as well. It's It's a really beautiful shot of her. Just like the wind is just tearing up this desert, There's just sand flying everywhere, and she's just yelling out, crying in the desert. It's amazing. It's a great shot. And yeah, with the super blue light, night comes back again, and everyone's having a chat and hanging out because this is as good as it's gonna get at this moment. Sort of planning what they're gonna do next. They're hanging out, looking at the stars. The old ladies are bonding with Immortan Joe's wives. One of them shows off a little handbag full of seeds and plants that they're growing, which I really love.
Yeah.
And yeah, talking about how there used to be enough food and resources for everyone, but then this other system was put in place, and it's very sad. I
like that. A satellite goes over, and Zoe Kravitz's character says that they used to transmit shows, and everyone had a show, meaning that this film did accurately predict the 2020 rush of podcasts.
So true. They're like, before the apocalypse, everyone's gonna have their own show.
Yeah,
beamed into space. Yeah, she predicted it. She knew.
Oh yeah, she knew there would be Pink Floyd waiting out the apocalypse.
Yeah, she's catching it on her podcatcher down there.
Yeah,
like any good listener should. Amazing.
What's the one podcast platform that will last into the apocalypse?
Stitcher Premium.
Yeah, I was going to say Stitcher.
Only the premium service as well. You have to, and it's run by Immortan. You've got to. You're paying straight into his pocket. He's the Stitcher. He's out there stitching podcasts and War Boys back together. Shout outs to Stitcher. I'm sure we're available there.
I think we are.
If you're listening on Stitcher or Stitcher Premium, please let us know.
Yeah.
Let
us know what it's like on the other side of the apocalypse.
I'm sure it's fine. Stitcher listeners, they're just more prepared. They're sensible folk. Yeah, we're getting into the final part of the second play here as we've wound down another crazy journey. Yeah, we've made it to the end of our journey at this point, or what we thought was the end, over Eclipse. It's great. And Max is like updating this little like needlepoint map that he's got.
Yeah, he's this premium Stitcher.
He for real is, yeah. He's like doing a bit of like needlepoint stuff. It's great. It's very well done. Artful.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And he sort of has a chat with Furiosa about what will happen next. And their plan is to ride across the quote endless salt flats, and that they could go for around 160 days before running out of water or supplies. So that's how far this place is. And they're going to leave the war rig to Max to do whatever he wants. And she's like, you can come with us. And Max is like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to, he's thought about it, but he's still messed up by everyone he's tried to help in the past just getting killed, and the PTSD of that's too much. So the next morning we get a shot of Max like looking at the approaching convoy of attackers. The pursuers are still coming, and we get a few more like tortured visions of the child again, but it allows him to like realize something about what should go on now. Like the child like helps him figure something out, and so he rides out to the ladies. He drives his own little motorbike to catch up with them, which I guess they left him one, which is quite kind. And he intercepts them, and that says that they should go back to the Citadel from where they came, because that's the best shot that they have at getting the resources they need. Like, that's a place where things grow. It's a place where there'll be water. And it's also a place that's currently uninhabited. There's only the commoners and like the weak war boys there right now. So, so that's the plan. The plan is to go back the way they came to the mountain pass that they got to before, and block it off again behind them. And Nux would be coming along with them and would be bringing them home basically as like a triumphant war boy escort, like bringing home the wives of Immortan Joe, you know? That's the play anyway. And so they're like, okay. Max mentions that this would be a shot at redemption for Furiosa, and she's like, all right, they're in. They do the classic Predator clasping of hands.
Yes. Why isn't this one taken off as much?
Hell yeah. It's just as good.
Yeah.
I guess it's like overall like less muscly on average. Less like muscle-bound clasp, but it's still bloody good. And yeah. We cut back to the Immortan Joe and his crew, who are just like snoozing, just like hanging out, having lost the people. I guess they're still in the like mucky muck of the swamp, waiting for the bullet farmer to come back or whatever. Yeah.
Like, man, he's been gone a while.
Yeah, they're just chilling, like, oh man, having a snooze. But then there's like a guy up on a big stilt who notices the war rig going back the other way, and they're like, oh, what? And so the chase is back on, going in the opposite direction. It's great.
And they get going just for On the Run to start, which is very good.
Premium. That was my next note. The final chase of the whole movie is starting here right on the run, so it's redeemed itself for me after the last one being in a chill moment. So yes, I'm very excited. So this is a really long sequence of just insane stunts. This is where we get to see, they're driving Max's car. They've like retrofitted it to be one of these war boy cars, and they're fucking it up. And then there's like a bunch of stuff that happens. So I'm going to go through some of it. We've got the crash down and On the Run plays. It does align with something, at least the bike of one of the ladies, one of the old ladies here, the one who was up in the tower, actually, the naked lady. It flips and crashes, and then over the clocks kicking in, she's firing shots into Immortan Joe's windscreen, which is awesome. But unfortunately, she gets taken out by the not the bullet farmer, the other guy,
the people eater.
People eater guy. Yeah, he runs her down. It's very sad. They like pinning. They're doing the people are closing in, and they're shooting harpoons at the back of the war rig. And they're using the same bloody bolt cutters that they've been using throughout the whole movie to detach these harpoons. Max and Nux are back there trying to cut them free. It's great. I just love that these bolt cutters have made it all the way through the movie as this incredibly useful item.
Like the real Chekhov's.
Yeah, Chekhov's cutters here. This is also this was described earlier and wasn't shown. But we get some polecats here who are, I guess, our Cirque du Soleil members. Coming in on big poles that are like flowing backwards and forwards, attached with a counterweight to the back of a truck, and they're just swinging in and dropping bombs and jumping onto the war rig, very like pirate style, like boarding party, jumping onto the backs of cars. It's great, so there's lots of hand-to-hand combat and gunfights breaking out all over the war rig here. There's a one of the old ladies gets shot, and she like grasps at her bag full of seeds. It's very sad, but she later on gets time to shine with a very cool stunt just before she dies. I think she destroys someone. It's great. Part of the cab of the war rig is pulled free by a harpoon, so it's just open to the elements. It's just huge fist fights. Furiosa gets stabbed in the side with like a dagger kind of thing. I don't know, like it's like a bone that has a like metal like blade attached to it, like a huge end to like a tibia or something.
It's like her secret weapon that she's kept in the cab of the
Oh,
truck
is it
the
the
whole
gear
time.
stick weapon? That is
Yeah.
okay. It's that same one. Okay. Yeah. There's a very impressive stunt where Max is dangling by his ankles and out like to the side of the car, and he's
Yeah.
almost getting crushed between two vehicles. And yeah, somehow miraculously manages to escape that one. It's great. They're like his own car is
Yeah.
being driven into the side of him, basically, and it gets crushed between the people eater's car and the war rig. It's just his car getting like sandwiched between these two things and then exploding. It's
Mm.
amazing. And yeah, he manages to steal the people leader's car and like kill him.
Yeah, well, Joe kills him. Like, he uses
That's
the
right.
people eater as a shield, and Joe just does not give a fuck.
Just unloads into him. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like destroys him. And yeah, so there's just jumping back and forth between these vehicles. Rictus Erectus jumps onto the war rig and is trying to take the wives and take them over to Immortan Joe's car, which is like now positioned in the front. And Furiosa is trying to like make her way around, sneak her way around to kill Joe in the front. And she is like wounded heavily, like I think like her lung is punctured. We find out later by this like stab wound, and yeah, she's like clambered her way around, but Richter spots her and like as soon as she gets there, she like attaches. I don't know how she does this, but she like sneaks up to Immortan Joe's like passenger or like door, his side door, and like strings his mask that he wears to the axle of the car, like between the two monster truck wheels.
Yeah, with like the leftover harpoon that he'd been using.
That's right. And yeah, it like quickly like ravels like fishing pole style and just rips the marks clean from his face, killing him instantly.
Yeah.
It's horrific. I'm glad they don't show his face properly. They do like at the end, but he's been like long dead at that point. They don't like show you the goriness of that, thankfully. It's always off screen when it's like a fresh wound. But damn, dude, that's a crazy way to die.
Yeah.
And Rictus is like having a battle with Max on top of the war rig at the front and trying to get to Furiosa and trying to like grab these wives and steal them away. And everyone, all the wives manage to get, they're like placed onto Immortan Joe's car by Rictus effectively. Because he thinks that Immortan's alive. And then, Max like manages to get away as well. And Nux is the one driving the war rig, all on his lonesome. And like saves the day, basically. He jams on the brakes, separating the two cars. And Rictus like, in a rage, like pulls the V8 out the front of the war rig. It's about to explode, and Nux sacrifices himself. He gets his glorious ending to save everybody. He like flips the war rig at the exactly between the mountains from before, all the rubble has been cleared again, by the way. I don't know if this is the same passage through the mountains. It must be, but they cleared it all on the other side, and now it's just collapsed again.
The bikey like cleaner guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, I just finished."
Well, presumably, like it was Immortan Joe's crew that like cleared the way, right?
Good point. Yeah,
in order to get all the people through. But like it's now recollapsed, crushing the war rig, and the final shot of this chase. We see everyone getting away, and the final shot of this chase sequence is all of the vehicles that were in pursuit colliding together. The Duff Warriors big sound stage just collides straight into the back of the war rig, and we see his guitar fly into the center frame before like everything explodes behind it. It's great.
So almost all of that was completely practical. They just collided all these wild cars together.
Yeah, presumably the guitar is the CGI part, but everything else is just real. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so all that's left now is just we're wrapping up. We've got Furiosa is slowly dying to blood loss. Her lung is collapsed effectively inside, and so acting very quickly, Max moves to save her. He like does a thing to open her airway so that she can breathe again, and then because he's the universal donor, he's able to save her life by giving her a blood transfusion because she's lost a lot of blood, and so he gives his life to save hers. It's really lovely.
So the moral is make sure you know your blood type.
Yeah, for real. I don't know my blood type, by the way. Actually, which is a shame. So I could be as useful in the future as Mad Max, but I don't. I currently don't know. Do you know your blood type?
Yeah, I'm a universal donor, so I'm kind of worried now it's going to be me tied to your car. Fueling you up with my high-octane crazy blood.
It could be. I'm looking forward to that personally because it's just a little bit of gas and I'm ready to go, you know? So it'll be great for me.
Tied to the front of the bus.
Yeah, he's my blood bag. It's fine, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince the bus driver.
I'm up there with everyone else's blood bags.
Yeah. Just in the overhead stows, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, so she... It's at this moment as well where Max has saved her life at the end here, where this is where he says that his name is Max. It's only after all this that he finally feels comfortable sharing who he is with someone else. You know? Yeah, it shows the growth that he's gone through here, to finally confide in someone else. He's opened up a bit more, after such tragic, horrible things have happened in this world. And they roll up back at the side of the Citadel, and Max slowly gets out of the vehicle. He's surrounded by all the commoners, and we see all the child war boys up in the rafters of the mountain looking down. And he reveals the Immortan Joe's body strapped to the front of the vehicle, as if it were a kill from a hunt, basically. And everyone's holy shit. The commoners immediately tosses it off the side, and the commoners immediately start tearing it apart for I guess resources. I
guess so, yeah.
The cool stuff that Joe has. I don't know. His sweet Perspex armor. I don't know.
Yeah. His coffee cards with all the stamps.
Oh mate, you know they're gonna be good. Damn. Yeah. Bit of mother's
He
milk.
does seem like the kind of guy who would keep those long after the apocalypse to show off.
Yeah, I would love it. There'd probably be medals, right? That he'd wear, I've got one free. Here we go. At your local service station, you can get a free coffee. Nobody knows what that is anymore. Something to do with gas, maybe? I don't know. But the final son of Immortan Joe is up here looking down on them, and he's all right, let them up. Here we go. He's apparently he's probably going to have quite a bit of responsibility now.
He looks very nervous.
Yeah. Presumably in the sequel we'll find out what happens here, but he decides to let them up, and so they drive the car on, and they pull up a whole bunch of the commoners as well to come up, and we see that all the mothers that were being milked in the previous scene have opened the floodgates, and all the water's pouring out for the commoners, free flowing. And it's looking a little bit brighter, this dark future, you know? And they ride up, and Furiosa looks around and sees that Max isn't on the platform anymore, and he's making his move to leave. He's all right, my work here is done. Tuxedo mask, let's go. I'm getting out of here. And they exchange a wee look, and then that's it. It pans down as the platform is raised into the air, and we get into the vocals of us and them in the credits.
Yeah.
That's the film, baby. What did you think? How did it sync?
Okay. I reckon, yes, we had the very good syncs, and we definitely were covered in just dripping in thematic syncs.
Oh, yeah. Damn right.
But Yeah, I don't know. There was enough misses in this that I'm kind of like, I want to give it what we gave, similar to what we gave something like Children of Men.
Yeah, I'm feeling very similar actually.
Oh yeah.
Theme-wise, it's a good match, but yeah, like not too many like of our traditional syncs. So yeah, I'm feeling a similar kind of vein. What did we give Children of Men? Do you remember?
I believe it was a 7.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was a 7 or a high 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling 6 on this one personally, and that I think like it's a. As I said, it's a good tone match, but it's just the driving nature of this movie, and that no pun intended, but it's like you're constantly like moving forward. It's got a lot of momentum, right? This whole thing. You are fully on the edge of your seat for most of it, and when you realize, whenever it gives you a chance to take a breath, you're like, "Oh, okay," like, and that isn't a good fit for the album, you know?
Yeah, for Pink Floyd to use one of your few quiet moments to play on the run, it was
that's a big miss. So
it's for the best because I put on the Mad Max score at this photo shoot at work the other day, and everyone got too stressed out and I had to change it.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Dang. That's a stressful photo shoot. Everyone's like rushing to get things done right. There's so much camera shake.
Right.
All the photos come out blurry because everyone's like fucking freaking out.
Yeah, everything's just blue and orange all of a sudden.
I mean, great if you're making like a Hollywood movie poster, but otherwise, you know. Oh man, so yeah, I'm feeling like a light 6 on this boy.
Light 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that put it below Pokemon or?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the lowest 6 I think we've got. I'm looking at the letterbox.
It's above Pokemon then. It's like it's just above Pokemon, I would say.
Would you put it above The Room, which was our other 6?
Yeah. Also, yes.
Okay. I could keep going. Would you put it above Hitchhikers or Predator?
No, it's below those two.
Okay, cool.
It's nestled.
It just climbs its way to 10.
Oh no. We just go through every film with avocado, and I'm like, no, it's better than that.
Yeah.
No. There it is.
Okay.
Easy
Groovy.
6. Alrighty.
Oh, wow. James, just like Mad Max, we don't get a chance to rest and drink the water. We've got to disappear into the crowd and go off on our next adventure. So true. What are we covering next week?
Look, Gareth, we're gonna keep moving fast. All right, we gotta keep driving on. Much like the movie that we watched, our podcast has no brakes. Okay, there is momentum here. Life is coming at us fast, Gareth, and if we don't stop to look around, we might miss it. All right.
Oh no,
we're doing Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, baby. We need to take a day off, really. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a romp.
What a romp indeed.
Yeah. It's still a movie about driving cars, though. You know?
True, yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, probably... No, not a much smaller amount of cars get wrecked, but you know.
Yeah, a fair amount. It was a different time.
Yeah. It wasn't a dystopian future.
Not quite yet. All right.
No.
So that's what we're up to next week. Have we got anything to promote besides the Jersey Boys and the War Boys?
Jersey Boys don't need the help of this show, I don't think. But check it out. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And you can check out Pink Floyd. You can check out Pink Floyd as well.
Yeah, check out Pink Floyd. They got some good albums out there, you know.
Yeah, they're all available on stores and streaming services.
Yeah.
And while you're on a streaming service, why not check out Pink Floyd, the podcast?
Stitcher Premium.
Which you already are checking out. But you can also follow us on Twitter at Pink Floyd Pod, Letterboxd at just Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Email us at syncfloyd@gmail.com. And yeah.
Yep.
Goodness. I've been Gareth Blackler.
I've been James Barron.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon.
Ooh.
Yeah. I turned into a ghost.
Witness me.
Witness me. As I turn into a ghost.
The ghost has to be canon.
Yeah. The ghost better make it in, Gareth.
Oh, don't worry.
Gonna be furious.